Hi, welcome to Silver Screen News with us, the Silver Screen Dudes. I'm Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nicola Rowe.
And today we're doing our ever popular top 5, where we count down my top 5. I'm going to let Nick tell you what it is, but I'm going to give a top 5, Nick will give his top 5, then we build a Mount Rushmore.
The Mount Rushmore staying, guys. Basically, we've had a lot of feedback from people. You love our Mount Rushmore idea. You love the formula, right? We've been told it's a bit long, and we're here to please you guys. You want us in bite size, so we're going to give you the big boys in bite size form.
Condensed. We're zip files right now. Yeah. But yeah.
So the way it's going to work now, we used to do a top 10. We're putting it down to a top 5. We're still going to pick some outlandish and not so outlandish categories. And the way we'll do it now is AJ will do his bottom 3, then I'll do my bottom 3, then he'll give his number 2, I'll give my number 2, then he'll give his top, then I'll give my top, and from that we will combine to make a popular Mount Rushmore. So we're not going to be repeating. We've done top 10 horror, and what was the first one we did?
Bond.
We did a Bond, right? Now today we are going to be getting guilty. We are doing the top 5 must-see, well, the Mount Rushmore of must-see guilty movie pleasures. Get ready to be guilty.
Yeah, as you said, outlandish. It doesn't get more outlandish than this. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna go wild. So it's my top 3 first.
Let's go with your bottom 3.
Yeah,
so
bottom
5,
3.
4, 3. Hit it.
4, 3. At number 5, Mortal Kombat. It's a top 5. It's number 5 for me. Are we still punting?
We're punting for sure. We're punting. That's way higher on my list.
Okay. What I'm going to do now is go to my number 4.
It gets guiltier than Mortal Kombat?
It does. You're going to be shocked. And it's in the realm of computer games. Street Fighter.
Oh, that nearly made my list.
It had to. Okay, so it's not on your list.
It's not on my list. Go for it.
It goes above Mortal Kombat. Yes, the action was more in Mortal Kombat, but I'm not going to go into that. The Street Fighter element is... I recall watching that film, and it's one of those things I really love. And I think if it was to come on now, the perspective has changed. You think, oh my god, I really enjoy this, but it was there. Jean-Claude Van Damme is Guile. I never understood that. We have the all-American hero with the muscles from Brussels. As an accent, which was really interesting. Kylie Minogue's Cammy, Raul Julia. What I really appreciate with Raul Julia as M. Bison,
yeah.
Well, what he done is, a lot of people say, why did he take that? He's quite an accredited actor. That is what, exactly this. That, as well as Gomez from the Addams Family, I heard, roles he actually took because his kids were growing up and he knew he was ill.
Yeah.
He's done characters that they really loved growing up, so they can look back at their dad playing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was really sentimental, and yeah, God,
surely that makes it less guilty. Yeah. That makes it less guilty.
Less guilty. The film in itself is still very guilty, and I think it has a higher level of cheese than Mortal Kombat. The cheese level is high in Mortal Kombat, and to me, it's a fonder memory. I've seen Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that was mine. Number 3, I think people are gonna want to shoot me with a water pistol.
Are we still staying in water pistol?
Yeah, that's a hint as to what's going on. It's not a water pistol, but water is a strong element in this. It's a film you're going to hate me for it, I'm sure, but it's a guilty pleasure. I recall watching it so many times.
It better not be what I'm thinking. Go on.
Waterworld.
No, that's not guilty. I have no guilt for liking that.
I love what do you know what? I hesitated because to me it isn't. But the way I've heard the feedback towards Waterworld, it wasn't. But again, going back to my childhood, I remember who were going, not DVD, tape. I had VHS. I had VHS.
Those things you had to rewind.
Yeah, Blockbuster Video. Yeah. But yeah, that was a film I recall watching continuously. I actually think it's a really good film.
Fantastic.
I really enjoy it.
I mean, the terrible thing about it is that this was after Kevin Costner got his Oscar for Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So he was basically given a license to thrill, or in most people's belief, not to thrill, because this movie bombed, and it had one of the highest production budgets of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
It just bombed. The idea was cool.
Do you know
and it's actually more relevant now than ever.
This is what I was going to say. The argument could be, was it too early for its time? And that's why there were some films, there were others that I could have put in, but I thought because of the way it was criticised, I had to put it in. Yeah, so it's a difficult one of, is it really a guilty pleasure then?
Gene Triplehorn butt naked is not guilty. That's far from guilty.
That's
if you're watching,
fantasy.
call me.
Yeah, but yeah. So I had to put it in. I suppose we now have the debate of, is it truly a guilty pleasure? On a wide spectrum, I'm going to put it as guilty pleasure and stick. On a personal level, no, it's not. But I had to take it from that level.
Do you remember the intro? Because you get the Universal Bull logo, and then it's like, the polar ice caps have melted. The world is now mostly underwater.
Yeah.
So that, in a world,
yeah, it
very
was,
much.
It was fun. I still love it, and it's one of those films I know that if it came on TV tomorrow or today, I haven't checked my TV listings, I would definitely watch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's my top 3.
So Combat, Street Fighter, and okay, so 2 computer games and a box office bomb, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let me go with mine then. Okay, I'm starting off with a guilty. Some people call it sci-fi, some people call it horror, some people call it an action adventure. Starship Troopers.
Didn't reach my list.
Did not make your list. This movie, it's got actually one good actor in it. Neil Patrick Harris is there.
Oh wow, yes, yeah.
Playing the psychic. It's okay. Right. If you haven't seen Starship Troopers, this is basically the idea. It's another one of those what if. So in a world. Basically, you've got a big planet called Klindathu. This is sci-fi, right? And we are, I think the year is beyond 21st century.
Yeah.
We are deep into the future here. And there are giant bugs. We're not talking, sort of Men in Black cockroaches. We're talking nasty, R-rated, will tear you a new one, rip you in half, nasty, flying, acid-spitting bugs. And it was such a B movie that worked. You know what? This movie, I don't think... Oh, hang on. Michael Ironside was in it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like... How did this ever get made? And then you watch it, and it's just so enjoyable.
I don't know if you remember going back. You wouldn't believe... I mean, yeah, you're right. It is a B movie, but promotionally...
It was a movie, yeah.
Yeah, it was a movie.
At least here in the UK.
It was, yeah, exactly. It was pumped left, right, and centre. I remember hearing competitions on the radio. Starship Troopers, get your chance to win the tickets to that. And
yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No. Oh, God, I could go back, but that would be going off topic. But, yeah.
Tune in Thursdays to see us go back.
Yeah, we will go back. It was one of those, it was enjoyable, don't get me wrong. It just... I have my top 5. It didn't reach there for me, and yes.
For me, that's close to being as guilty as it gets, but I've got more guilty.
Go.
Okay, my number 4. Just spread the news. There's a clue. It's a little monster.
Gizmo. Yes, I was just about
Gremlins 2. Because the first one is not guilty. The first one's not guilty. That's Steven Spielberg. That's him doing his thing. That's not guilty.
He created something.
Gremlins 2 just went starring the late great Christopher Lee. It is okay. So if you don't know, this is what
this
Gremlins
was the new
2.
batch, isn't it? Or
This is the new batch.
It was the new batch.
There was a 3.
I'm sure there wasn't.
I hope there wasn't. Okay, Gremlins. For those of you who don't know, come from something called a Mogwai. The Mogwai is a little thing where, Google Mogwai, you will fall in love with this thing. It is imagine a kitten and a puppy and the cutest little stuffed animal all rolled into one. And a teddy bear thrown in there for good measure with big ears, alright? Gizmo is the cutest little thing that's ever been invented. There are 3 rules. Do not get them wet.
That's the one I...
Do not expose them to sunlight. Kills them. Do not feed them after midnight.
Yeah.
Exposing them to water or feeding them after midnight, Gizmo...
Not so cute.
gives a weird type of birth to creatures called gremlins, who start off cute like him. Unfortunately, they evolve and they get nasty. They turn into sort of half human-sized bipeds, walking on 2 feet. And the reason Gremlins 2 got guilty is because they just went nuts. This happened in a big building which had a science lab on it. One of them became like a spider gremlin. There was a flying gremlin which became a gargoyle. There was the one that talked, and just so we're talking about good measure, Tom, all we want is to invade New York and to run wild. And it was like, really?
it is big, yeah.
There was an electric one, you remember? Come on!
Anything you can imagine, there was a gremlin version.
Spinning eyeball.
It's a crazy film.
It was nuts, absolutely nuts. And unlike the first one, which the Gremlins had an element of fear to them, right? I mean, they were quite spooky. Look at images, Gremlins 1, even if you want to just Google image it, it's quite scary. It's unsettling. The second one is just fun. It's stupid fun.
It was laugh a minute kind of madness. You could see it, isn't it? It just exploded from one. Like,
it went too high. It went too mad.
Let's go as crazy as we can. No, it's a good one. It's a guilty. Yeah, it didn't cross my mind at first, but it's definitely a guilty. I'll give you that.
Next one's guilty. You may not have seen it. I hope you have. Well, depending if you have or haven't. Most people do not like this movie. It stars Adam Sandler, and I like the old Adam Sandler, just to clear this up. I like The Water Boy. I like Happy Gilmore. I even like Big Daddy.
Big Daddy was my first intro.
Click, I actually thought had some redeeming qualities.
I liked Click.
He's done a lot of bad stuff, though. I'm well aware of, Grown Ups, 50 First Dates, not my thing.
There's more to slapstick comedy.
He's really not, he's let himself down. But this one I'm going to mention is what people classify as the part of him letting himself down, but for some reason, it just hit all the right notes with me. I am talking about, you don't mess with this Zohan. Smell it, and take it. Did you just hit me with your foot? Yes, the foot. It was the foot uppercut. Yeah. Now I make you pretzel. It was so stupid. But do you know what? Especially that first opening 10 minutes in Israel, where he's walking on the beach playing hacky sack with his buttocks. Hey Zohan, come in disco. No. I make the food. A real man can disco and make the food at the same time, There was so much. They played on stereotypes, and I'm not Israeli, so I cannot speak for everyone. But to my knowledge, it did not cause any outrage or offence.
And I don't believe so.
And it handled stereotypes, I think, in as non-offensive way as it could, while making them funny. Hey, have some fizzy babalach. Yeah, kiwi watermelon is okay.
For the concept of it, it is someone from Israel wanted to come to the US to become a hairdresser. That's the concept for anyone.
He was like an Israel Secret Service, and he was the best. And you get throughout the movie all these stories about how did you make him sit on a live grenade and blow himself up. There's all these stories running back about how great of a warrior and how great of a soldier the Zohan was. How the women loved him. He's a renowned superstar. And then he tells his mother and father, I want to go to the US and make sticky, make the hair. And he ends up working. And the funny part is, and this is why I think it didn't cause offense, they start playing on a stereotype whereby he's Israeli, he's not going to get a job in the US, so he has to work in going out of business electronics store. He wants to be a hairdresser, and on the same street where all the Israeli electronics stores are, opposite side of the street, there is a Palestinian hairdresser where he ends up working. Yeah. And it was cool. I liked it. I mean, it was dumb. It doesn't get dumber, and that's why it's my guilty pleasure. I loved it.
I watched it.
So he didn't love it?
Adam Sandler, as you said, Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore, those stuff. Those are the Adam Sandler. I think those could have been my guilty pleasures, but they weren't. And Zohan, no, too guilty. I couldn't. No.
Too guilty.
It wasn't a pleasure. It wasn't. Guilty maybe, pleasure no. It wasn't. The concept is perfect. I just couldn't catch it. It wasn't my comedy.
I loved it.
It wasn't my comedy. Okay.
And young Johan, if you're watching, mate, we've had a lot of laughs about this. So give me the thumbs up, please. Yeah. Thank you, mate.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Fair enough. Okay. So is it down to my...
Give your number 2.
My number 2. This one shouldn't shock you. You knowing me for as long as you've known me, it has to be my guilty pleasure. At one point, it was my favourite movie.
Oh.
Jim Carrey. Tommy Lee Jones. Val Kilmer. Chris O'Donnell. And obviously, the one and only Miss Nicole Kidman. Yes.
I know.
Of course we are. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big bad bat? Yes, of course, we're talking Batman Forever. The Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton. Yeah, it was the Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton. Merger. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fantastic at the time. Obviously.
No, it wasn't.
You come back. Do you know what? I will.
You liked it because you like Val Kilmer as Batman.
Val Kilmer worked as Batman. Batman also being my favourite hero, but not getting into that too much. Do you know what? I will find the VHS and show where the newspapers praised it. Propaganda. But no, it had all the elements. And do you know what?
High entrance.
Don't leave that out. Do you know what? Knowing Batman and going way back to the Adam West era, it's Batman and Robin. We had the introduction of Robin. We had
don't say Batman and Robin.
No,
that's
Batman
not a pleasure.
and Robin, not the movie. That's not guilty. No, that's guilty. Yeah, but anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, it had the boat, the car, the plane. It had everything. You know, how should I go? By plane or by boat? How about both? No, I loved it. And the Riddler, to have a wacky
Jim
character.
Carrey was fantastic. I loved him. People give him shtick for it. I loved him.
I think it worked. It was zany. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can have the element of the Riddler's meant to be more serious, but
he is.
He is. But if you're wanting someone who's, you have to see the film.
The Riddler's not the one I think needs defending.
It's Two-Face.
They turned Two-Face, who, if you know anything about the Batman comics, is a gangster. He is a DA gone wrong. If you've seen The Dark Knight, read the comics, watched the old Batman series, whatever. Two-Face is nasty. And he turns into Riddler's, you know, I don't want to use profanity, but you know what I'm thinking of. He turns into Riddler's very, very right-hand man.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was weak and you could have gone deeper, but I think it's the element of the Batman that they went for. Obviously, later on, after that was something we won't mention, then when you get into the Batman Begins, you know, it gets revamped and it's a more serious, more darker tone. It was different from Returns and Batman. I like it. As I said, it was my favourite movie and I will never take it back. And
that's guilty.
Yeah,
that's guilty.
That's my guilt. That's my
that's some guilt you got there.
Yeah, there was another one. My number one just became something. Funny enough, it was just another top film. But yeah, and that's why it beat my previous all-time favorite film.
What your number?
Yeah, my number one was a fan. I would still say it's a good film, but hey, it falls under guilty.
We'll hold on that.
Yeah.
Let me go with my number two.
Get over here! Freeze! Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, well, you know, it was my number 5.
I love it.
Yes, it was my number 5, so I can understand. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. Definitely a guilty pleasure. Yeah, in terms of guilty, I suppose you're right. It could be
Raiden, Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Freeze. Put Batman in my head. Sub-Zero. Who is the one with the forearms? What was he called? Not Baraka.
Goro.
Thank you.
Goro, yeah.
And Lizard was in there.
Yes, that did get me excited because Lizard was fairly new to the franchise of the
And you know what you may not know. Have you seen those? Well, they're Thai martial arts movies. There's one called Tom Yam Goong and the other one called Ong Bak.
Ong Bak, yes, yeah.
Right.
Familiar with Ong Bak.
Tony Jaa was the Lizard.
Fun fact.
When just after it's Liu Kang, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just after Liu Kang beats the lizard in his lizard form and knocks him into the wall, and he becomes that black ninja. That black ninja is none other than Tony Jaa. Check it out.
Fantastic! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Very young Tony Jaa.
Still fantastic martial arts.
Which makes it even less guilty.
Yeah, exactly. When you know who he became to be.
Christopher Lambert as Raiden. You're on a mission. You're on a secret mission. It's so guilty. You know what I mean? I think our number one might be the same actually, but it does not get much guiltier than Mortal Kombat. You want to take. This is how to make a really bad movie really appealing. You actually just stick to the real core values of the franchise. In this case, the game. It was sometimes you take a book, you take a comic, and you take a video game, and you make it look different. I was watching Scorpion.
Yeah,
that was Scorpion.
It was more relatable than going back to like Street Fighter. Street Fighter was
apart from Baraka. Or Blanca, sorry. Not Baraka, Blanca.
But this is what I'm saying. When you look at Street Fighter, the elements were there but just wrong. Blanca was bad. Dalsim didn't stretch. You know, it was just there were parts where it went wrong. Mortal Kombat definitely embodied it all. It really kept that whole.
It ruined Vega.
Yeah. That's the thing. Mortal Kombat kept to it Street Fighter went wrong, and that's why to me it's guiltier, because it's like I'm watching this, but I wouldn't actually if I
It's
can.
only the name.
If I can, one that I couldn't even put on my guilty pleasure, and I'm happy it didn't reach on yours. One that was only based on name, Mario.
Do 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 do.
That yeah.
You don't know. It's not on my list. It's not.
I hope not.
It's
I
not.
really hope not. Yeah, but yeah, no. Street Fighter really kept to the concept, but yeah, it was a cheese fest at the same time. So yes, it's a guilty pleasure. Yeah, it's on my list as well.
It's on your list. It has to be there.
Get over here.
Yeah.
You're number one.
This one, fantastic. And I go back as a kid. We're talking Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, and
Oh yeah, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. I was going to say intro, but no, intro was Speed. Yes, the second time I saw Sandra Bullock on the big screen. and it
Speed's a guilty pleasure.
It should have
Speed's-
been. Yes,
Speed's
definitely,
guilty.
definitely. But yes, I'm talking about Demolition Man.
Oh yes, and by the way, that's my number one too.
That's really coincidental because that yeah, wow, that yeah.
That is just. Do you know what? I feel guilty for liking it, but I don't.
No, I
Because
can't.
it's
I
actually
can't.
such fun.
What I loved is the content. I'm really a sucker for like scenes and settings and whatnot. So the fact that you've got the future and you go to a museum of the past,
Yeah.
which was our modern day era, and it was cool. They really captured it well.
The glow sticks, the beat machine, the
you can't
seashells.
stop. I still need to know those 3 seashells. What are they? Yeah, you have to check it out. For anyone who
He doesn't know how the
hasn't
3
seen,
seashells work. I actually, that could be a problem.
yeah, and
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone was in there.
Stallone.
Come on.
if you run out of toilet paper, just start cursing people. That's the way you go
Yeah.
about it. For anyone who doesn't know the story, you have the ultimate cop in Sylvester Stallone and the ultimate bad guy in Wesley Snipes.
Simon Phoenix,
Simon Phoenix. And what you do is when you stop Simon Phoenix,
who was basically a black Joker.
the blonde hair. Joker had green hair.
No,
Simon
the
Phoenix
way
had
he
blonde-
behaved. I'm a man possessed.
Yeah, it was. He was really.
Oh, what's
wacky
all of
and
this?
zany.
All of you against little old me. Oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the Joker.
It was. It's true. It's true. One of my favourite scenes, without giving a spoiler. How much do you weigh? Well, yeah, that was fantastic. But yes, in present day, back then, which was 94.
Demolition Man, I believe, was 94. Yeah,
94. He's been stopped and they freeze him. Instead of giving him a life sentence, he's frozen. So if you've got the ultimate bad guy frozen, you need the only man who could stop him and catch him needs to be frozen too, and that's where Sylvester Stallone comes.
John Spartan.
Yeah. And that's the film, and then eventually it comes time to melt him as he serves his time, and then he goes bad. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it, that's the essence of it, but I do really recall that film in laugh, action.
Oh, it's
It
great.
It's
great.
It's a movie of its era. That's, yeah, I would
The
say.
rat burger, which actually looked good.
Yeah, so what memories for you? How did you, yeah.
Can I ask you something actually, just quickly? Because I rewatched it recently. The version you watched when he saves
Lieutenant Huxley.
not Lieutenant Huxley, when he saves William Smithers
Yes.
and he gets invited to the restaurant
Yes.
Taco Bell.
I believe so.
Something weird happened. Maybe you can tell me this for those of you who have seen it, guys. I rewatched it recently, and they had dubbed over it Taco Bell in the renewed version. That's the only thing they changed was I am taking you to Pizza Hut.
No, Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But now watch it. They've changed it to Pizza Hut.
I believe I still have the VHS somewhere. I'm going to dig that up and really get that.
No, it's definitely Taco Bell. That's the original.
Okay, yeah.
And then there were Valley of the Jolly Green Giant. You remember when they're coming in? Yeah. And what if I told you you were a caveman-esque man of a bygone era who would have much been left forgotten in the freezing chamber?
I don't know. Thanks, I guess. Yeah.
It's really just adapted to an era that's not yours. And yeah.
Why don't you just shove a leash on my
Yeah, I love it.
Now, Demolition Man is pretty guilty. Now, Rushmore.
Well,
we know what-
coincidentally number one for both of us.
Demolition, lock in.
They're locked in. Okay, I believe the next one has to be Mortal Kombat.
Let's do like with the horror. Let's try and get as broad a range as we can.
Well, okay, here we go now. I think Mortal Kombat has
Mortal
to go.
Kombat has to go
It's number
in
2 because irrelevant of where it placed in.
Most people would actually say it's the guiltiest of all, and I would be close to agreeing.
Yeah, but we both had number 1 as Demolition Man,
Yeah.
so fair enough. Okay, this is going. I'm gonna go.
I don't think we should put 2 video games in there.
No. I was gonna go for Gremlins next.
Yeah, cool.
Based on the fact that it was that horror element. Gremlins wasn't horror, but you know
The
what I'm
first
saying.
one was.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's that guilty pleasure horror. It would be, but it's a zany horror at that. So we've got the action, the video game.
We've got the action, the video game. We've got the
horror.
The horror. You mentioned speed earlier. I need to, just because this came back to mind. Friend of mine a few days ago, you know who you are, because I was asking him, what sort of guilty pleasures did you have looking for ideas? This nearly made the list. If we were still doing top 10, it would have been in there.
Definitely.
Bring It On. Do you remember that movie? The cheerleader movie.
Yeah.
I don't care that I'm a guy and I like this movie. I love this movie. Do you remember this? I mean, sorry, but deleted. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. It would have been.
It would have been a guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Bring It On, it would have been in there. To my buddy, you know who you are.
Yeah, okay. This is where it gets interesting. So now I have Waterworld, Street Fighter. Well, Street Fighter's off the cards, I agree. So I have Waterworld and Batman Forever.
You have Starship Troopers and You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Right.
This is difficult because I think Waterworld, in terms of a category, deserves to be there, but I also think it's
for
too good.
But then, this is it. Fantastic movie, box office flop. It's a guilty pleasure.
Well,
By
guilty
definition.
pleasure isn't. No. Guilty pleasure isn't
It's
defined
bad.
as it being a flop because look at Starship Troopers. That wasn't a flop.
Yeah, true. But then that's the reverse. I'll tell you what.
Guilty pleasure is a movie which is universally agreed upon, I think, as being bad, but that you can take pleasure in. That's why Mortal Kombat is the perfect guilty pleasure in some
I
ways.
think some people, I've heard a lot of criticism, and I don't know if it's people being sheep, no offence to anyone who believes this, but I've heard a lot of criticism for Waterworld.
I'd sooner put Waterworld on there than my remaining 2. What was your other one? Street Fighter, no. Not Street Fighter.
So are you looking for Batman Forever and Waterworld? But I don't know your opinion on Batman Forever.
Dude, like you, when it first came out, I really liked it. I actually really liked it. Then I grew up.
Yeah, I think this is what happens though.
And then Christopher Nolan introduced Batman. I'm Batman.
If we're ever going to get into irritants, the Batman voice got to me. But a different story.
It got to you.
Superior Cafe. Yeah, big shout out to you guys. Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm Batman.
So is Batman in there? I don't know how you're.
Because he's Batman.
Yeah, well, of course. Batfail. I would like it in there. I think it could fall under the superhero category.
It's a little bit,
but it's
a little bit close to combat.
Yeah, this is it. We're crossing into the fictional. It's all fiction. Don't get me wrong. Well, I would say let's go for Waterworld on the fact of major good film, bad box office, and in reverse, I will then give you Starship Troopers of.
But we've got our 4.
Where are we at?
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Mortal Kombat. Gremlin.
Gremlins, yes, of course, and then yes, Waterworld. Yeah, I think that sounds locked. We're going for it.
And here we go.
Right, top, fantastic.
So our Mount Rushmore of guilty movie pleasures is as follows. Here's the logo, guys. In no particular order, the Mount Rushmore of must-see guilty movie pleasures is
Demolition Man.
Get over here.
Mortal Kombat.
Do. Number 3.
Gremlins 2.
Be sure on the 2.
2. The new batch.
Number 4.
Waterworld.
The box office bomb. Guys, what are we gonna give them 5 or are we gonna give them Mount Rushmore?
If you could do a Rushmore, we'll give you a Rushmore. But I think a Rushmore needs debating. So look,
Yeah.
we'll give them your top 5. Go
Give
for
us
top
your
5.
5 guilty movie pleasures, guys. What movies make you feel guilty or make you feel good, no matter how guilty they are.
Yeah. And also, equally, do you agree with us? Waterworld. Is it just a box office flop, or is it actually a guilty pleasure? I'd love to see the comments below on that. It's not a stinker. It's Rushmore. Yeah, so I suppose this is it.
Right, guys, so as always, you can tune in every day of the week, Monday through Friday, where you can find our Mount Rushmore, our box office show, our news show, our Throwback Thursdays, our comic book news, loads of stuff for you movie fans to enjoy. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and hit us up on Instagram.
That's the ones. And well, for this show, I'm AJ, aka Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nico Leroux.
Catch you next.
See you guys.